Fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.
Hi, welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm Rosemary Lachance, an energy healer, spiritual advisor, and teacher. And I'm your host for this thought-provoking series, and I'm dedicated to providing you with food for thought information and answers to all modalities of alternative healing, spiritual development, animal welfare, environmental concerns, and so much more in the form of guest speakers who are experts in their fields. This series is recorded and will be shown in your area on your local public service cable network. Please contact them for dates and times. If you have a group that you think would be interested in what we have to offer, we are available to come to your group and teach, and we'll give you the contact information at the end of the show. Please visit my website and click on My TV Show, where you will find a wealth of information about this show. These shows are now available for you to watch free on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Healing Outside the Box and make your choices. We are constantly adding new shows, so keep checking back. We are also on Facebook under Healing Outside the Box. Please like our page for the latest information about the show. I hope you enjoy the show. And tonight's show, which is our 206th show, is called Tail to Paw Animal Support. And my guests are Bobbi Jo Evens, creator of Tail to Paw Animal Rescue, and her daughter, co-founder, Kate, animal welfare coordinator also. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you for having
sweetie.
us.
Thank you.
Okay, let me give you a little bit of bio about Bobbi Jo. She's the force behind Tail to Paw. She's a lifelong animal lover and is currently mom to Buster, Talia, Aslan, Aurora, Smudge, Benji, Ash, Stardust, Stitch, Mystique, and Lilo, as well as her human child, Kate. And these are all kitties, right?
Yep.
You have how many kitties?
10 cats, 1 dog.
Oh, my goodness. What's the name of the doggie?
Buster.
Buster. She holds her master's in public health and works to end homelessness among individuals and families. Linda has been an animal lover since the day she was born. Linda
is one of our vice presidents. Yep. She couldn't be here tonight.
She's not going to be here.
She was
okay,
sick.
so all right.
So she couldn't be here with us.
Okay. This is Linda, but what about you? You're like this, right? Bobbi, you're like this. From birds to squirrels to cats, dogs, you love them all, right?
We do.
There's
yes,
nothing you wouldn't do to help an animal.
Absolutely not.
And okay. So that's all about Linda, but she's not here.
No.
Okay. The mission of Tail to Paw is to assist low-income households to maintain their compassion animals in their homes. Through education, medical vouchers, spay, neuter vouchers, food and supplies, their goal is to ensure that families are able to keep their pets and to prevent homelessness. This is a wonderful thing. Now, this is the first time I've ever heard of anything like this. They also strive to foster pets of victims of domestic violence and those experiencing homelessness so they can keep the services needed to secure housing and be reunited with their companion animals in a united forever home. That is wonderful. I heartily praise you. That is just fantastic. Okay. The first thing I ask my guests is, what made you get started in this field?
Well, obviously we love animals.
Yeah.
And you have to have a love for animals to do this. But we also love people. And,
good.
Yep. So it goes hand in hand. But,
Well, yeah, I love animals. Not quite so on the people.
well, we find that there's a huge human-animal bond. And working by day to house people who are homeless, I've seen how many people are homeless with their animals and the services that they are not receiving for these animals. So we've my daughter and I have worked for years with many rescues. And with rescues, they're bringing in animals, they're finding them forever homes, and it's amazing because they're helping to save these homeless animals, which is also something we do because we'll never say no to an animal in need. But we realize that a lot of people are relinquishing their animals because they're not able to care for them.
Yes.
And sometimes it's of no fault of their own. They lost their job, their income has been decreased. Maybe the animal has some type of illness that could easily be managed, but they're not able to afford some of that.
Right.
So we really needed to step up and say, you know what, let's do this. Let's help people keep their animals at home, especially people experiencing homelessness, especially the low income, and stop these pets from going into shelters or from being left in woods in crates or abandoned on the side of the road, and go from there. And we find that there is a huge need for that.
Oh, yes, there is.
Yep. And, we're expanding greatly with what we'd like to do. But that's really what we started with, is just looking at that need, for this to happen and for the focus to be on helping people to keep their animals and helping those animals to stay with the people that they have known and loved rather than just be abandoned.
I've never heard of this kind of thing before. Is there any, there must be another states or anything?
Yeah, there are in different states. There's a couple of organizations, mostly out west, in larger areas in California, Colorado, where there's more of a larger homeless population. In our area, you'll still hear people, especially along the shoreline, say there's no homeless people here. Or this doesn't exist in our area, and unfortunately it does.
Yes.
And people struggle because, Social Security disability, they may get $730, $750, and they're paying rent, they're paying utilities, they're paying their own medical expenses, which may have co-pays to them. And there's still that stigma of, well, if you can't afford it, why do you have to have a pet? You shouldn't own a pet. And it's such a bad stigma that people have on somebody who's homeless or low income, because somebody who is homeless often takes better care of their animal than somebody who's not.
That's right.
They'll feed them before they feed themselves.
Yes.
And those animals are usually more social. They're less aggressive. Studies have shown that they're in better health sometimes than an animal that lives in a nice, comfy house, because unfortunately, the people that have sometimes don't take as well.
No, you're
care
right.
of.
They don't. They really don't.
So,
See, that's the thing. There's need out there for things. If people just open their eyes and say, what can I do to help? Find that need.
Yep.
I mean, you're not rich. You didn't farm just because you had a ton of money and you want to do this and that. No. We can all do something to help. All do something to help the animals in so many ways. And you took the initiative and did it.
Absolutely.
I mean, God. Bless you. Oh, my God. Oh, dear, dear, dear. So you just told me about well, actually, no, you didn't. What's the story behind Tail the Paw Animal Support? And tell me about Smudge.
So Smudge, this is Smudge. Smudge is one of the cats who,
let's see, there. Okay,
there he
let me
is.
see.
He's kind of,
Yeah, can you see? There you go. Whoop.
There he
Okay,
is.
there we go.
Smudge is a big boy. Here, I'll let you hold. So Smudge.
No, straight out. Straight.
Smudge is a cat
like that.
who belonged to somebody I worked with, who was somebody who lived in, who was on low income, who struggled with, finances. But this cat was her worldly possession. And one day he got out of the house on an accident. He disappeared for about a week. We looked, couldn't find him. He came home one night, and she called me hysterical because he was bloody, burned, and in very bad shape. So we rushed him to my vet, my personal vet, and I begged the vet. I said, please, she does not have the finances. We don't know what's wrong. They treated him at no cost. for the first visit, and we discovered that he had, the vet said that he had been thrown into some type of oil fire. And his back paws were burned beyond, his front paws were burned, his body was burned, his fur, he was going to need his tail. And so he was burned in essence from tail to paw.
Dear God in heaven.
So he needed extensive treatments, paw soaks, medicine.
She was good with that.
We got medicine donated. And then we gradually, week by week, I paid some of the vet bills. We got a GoFundMe page. We got donations. But that was really what I said. This is really needed. And I vowed that nothing would ever happen to him. Fast forward, she was diagnosed with cancer, and I promised her that he would always be forever taken care of. And this is where the little issue of what happens to an animal when families come in and just decide, we're just going to toss him to an animal shelter. He ended up at an animal shelter under a different name, different circumstance, right, and with a totally different circumstance, told to the animal control officer.
I thought she was going to get in touch with you.
She never did.
The family didn't. And I stepped in, rescued him, paying the fee from the animal shelter.
It was cute.
And, they knew when I walked in and I said, Smudge, it's me. He came out from under the bed, saw me, and he came home with me, and he's with me now. And
he looks like he's good now.
He's in very good health now.
He's a big cat.
Poor baby.
But that was how I named Tail to Paw, because he was burned tail to paw. And I vowed never would that happen to another animal, that they would be taken care of. And if beyond all, no animal should end up in a shelter. Just because, so we have, in the course of being a nonprofit and even before, helped people who have gone into nursing homes and have had animals relocate those animals so that they don't have to go into the shelter. Because a lot of times these animals are also older. They do have medical conditions, and their life at a shelter is going to be miserable. It's going to be horrible, and there's no guarantee they're going to get adopted. And
some of those are kill shelters.
Exactly. Yeah. And with him, his behavior, he was hiding under a bed. He wasn't in great shape.
He's yellow.
He potentially was not going to be adopted. So, what would have happened?
Yes.
The worst.
He would have put to sleep, yeah.
Exactly. So he's been with us for about 4 years now, and he's healthy, happy, follows me around the house like a little dog.
His fur is missing from the paws and whatnot.
Yeah. And he still has remnants of the injuries. He has a lot of health issues. Needs daily medication. So he definitely would have been somebody who's not adopted.
Yes, he would have been.
And this is one of those other things that, we try to tell people, if you have an animal that, is going to be relinquished because somebody's going into the nursing home, or somebody really cannot take care of them due to medical circumstances, don't bring them to the nursing home. Let us figure something out, because we don't want it to end up in a worse situation. And many animals don't do well in shelters.
Shelters, no.
No.
They don't. Thank God for Smudge.
I know.
Poor baby.
Yeah.
You have some more now? Do you have more?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. Okay. There are other groups that do similar things to what you're doing. What made you want to start a nonprofit knowing it would be just another animal group?
So that was a huge thought when I first started thinking about starting a nonprofit. We don't think of ourselves as competition, but there is a lot of competition when you go to animal rescue, fairs and things, and you're looking at other groups that do similar or different types of things. And we look at ourselves as being very unique in that we provide a lot of case management to the person as well as the animal. So our big thing, and I'll give an example, is we have somebody who he connected with us because he was struggling to get food for his cats. And we literally, I think the week that we met with him, got him some food, got him some kitty litter to help with
Clipped
clipped the cat's nails, gave him some education about some things, how to give medicine to the cats.
Just interacted with the cats and whatnot.
And then literally the week after,
It was Christmas.
it was around Christmas time, his house burned down.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we were the ones that helped. They had the American Red Cross was there to help him and his family. But we were the ones there helping with the animals.
Getting clothes too, also clothes.
And helping him. And so
his
now
daughter.
we were there to help with the family and the animals. So we also provided initial resources. Okay, what are you going to do for this? What are we going to do for that? You know, we've got more resources for him, but we also provided a little bit more of case management. You know, you've been through a traumatic event. Let's talk about where you're going to go for that help. So relying on our backgrounds in case management, vocational services, mental health, we try to connect people with a lot more resources. So we're trying to give them wraparound services. So not just, okay, here's some food for your animal, get yourself better, talk to you later.
Yeah.
We provide that, you know, let's go visit with the person.
Yeah.
Because
Be their friend.
yeah,
you know?
I mean, a lot of the
Everybody
people
needs a friend.
Right.
and a lot of the people are a little elderly. They can't get to the stores. So a lot of what we do is bringing them the big bags of heavy kitty litter, and we sit and we talk. You know, we find out what else they may need. We help somebody with their disability paperwork because they didn't have anybody else helping. Let's provide resources. What can we connect you with in the community? So it's a wraparound type of service. And our main focus is homelessness. So somebody who's homeless in a shelter with their animal, trying to get the shelters to understand, yes, you do have to take in emotional support animals and service animals. And what is an emotional support animal? What's a service animal? How can we help you accommodate these animals? Because this is new for a lot of the shelters.
Yes, I'd never heard, yeah.
Yep, and shelters are still refusing, so we have to educate the shelters to say, you do have to take in these types of animals, and here's what quantifies these types of animals, and what can we do to help? And so we had a shelter that did take in the emotional support dog, but then the person got a job and they wouldn't let the dog stay alone in the shelter for the person to work.
Right.
So, okay, now we have to scramble for doggy daycare, which didn't accommodate the schedule. So we're fostering. So now we're realizing there's a greater need. And so, you know, we looked at it and we said, we're really the only one that does certain things around here. We need to get bigger. We need to really change this. But there's other resources that do other things, so we can connect and network with, and we did. We're able to network with this group to help with medical costs, and this group to help network with this, and this group to network. So we're all, you realize that we're all in it together, and even though we do similar things, we still do unique enough that we're different. So I think that kind of, and I think I just realized it really in the last couple of months that we are unique enough that we stand out, and we all stand out amongst ourselves. So every rescue group has its own passion and its own uniqueness, and we bring our uniqueness to it and our background and our different focus and what we want to do. And we're still young enough and we're evolving. But we're definitely going to come out with a bang.
What about funds? I mean, where do you get money? Do they donate? How does that work?
Yep, so we apply for grants, and there's a lot of grants that we're applying for. Unfortunately, it's very competitive because most of those grants are either statewide or nationwide. Donations, we rely a lot on donations. A lot of it's my own personal money that I put in.
We sit out out of Agway and, you know, hi.
Yep, go to a lot of fairs and try to educate. The big focus is educating people about what we do, about what the need is, about what they can do to help other people. So as much as we definitely need the funds, we also network with stores and whatnot for food donations and bedding and blankets and things like that. And we do participate in a lot of small fundraising groups where, you know, people sign up, or, you know, Amazon Smile, you shop and we get some money. But it's mainly donations that, we rely on from people. And 100% of the donations and 100% of anything that comes in goes right back to the animals and to the people that we help. So that's the one thing. And I have we just did our annual report, which I'm going to be uploading to my website, but I believe in 100% transparency on all that. A lot of rescues don't, unfortunately, but we have to. It's the only way you can show people what we're doing. Where your dollar's going, and I can tell everybody where their dollar went, and where their blanket went, and where their toys went, because it's important that people know that they are making that difference, and how valuable they are.
Yeah, there's such a need, such a terrible, terrible need for this.
Yep.
If people want to help, just look around and see the need that's out there and what you can do to help. There's so much you can do to help it. If you have extra money and you wonder what you want to do this, help. Get a hold of them and try to help them in some way. There's so much you can do in this, just this one state alone. Imagine over the whole United States of America, So people out there, you want to do something, help these people. Find it in your area. Let this be I can't even think of the word. Let it be I'm going blank. Inspiration. That's it. Let this be an inspiration for you to see this. All right, you say that people in our areas are homeless, some with pets, and some are experiencing a desperate need for assistance to take care of their pets. Can you elaborate on that? I think you really did. It was a question that I think you really did.
Yeah.
So what services are you able to provide for your consumers and to the community?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to go back to that homeless question, because every year there's a point in time count, and it's done in January. And in the New Haven area, just in the city of New Haven in 2017, there were 543 individuals counted as homeless.
Wow.
And in the greater New Haven counties, which we call the balance of state, so it's Fairfield County and up in the Waterbury area and a few other areas, they estimated about 2,400 homeless. So just if you look in the city of New Haven with 543 in 2017.
Just New Haven alone.
Just New Haven alone.
Yeah.
There's an estimate, there's no accurate count of people who are homeless with their pets. The main reason being people with pets who are homeless are afraid to come forward. The fear being that if I have a pet and I'm homeless, you're going to take my pet away because you're going to say I don't deserve it, or I can't take care of it, and it's not fair to the animal, so they're going to stay hidden. But the estimate's about between 5 and 10%. So if you look at 5 to 10% of 543 people, you're looking at between 27 and 54 people just in New Haven who are potentially homeless with pets. That's a big number. That's a large number of animals that are out there with their humans who don't have a place. And then you look at how many of them have doctor's notes that say they're emotional support pets, because how many of those people are connected with mental health or with medical doctors if they've been homeless, or are service dogs and have been able to get the training for those dogs? Probably not many. So these are animals that can't go into shelters. They can't go to soup kitchens with their animals because they can't bring the animals into soup kitchens. So there's no access to shelter, no access to hot food for them. They have to leave their animal someplace that they feel is a safe place, and there's not a lot of places. So
plus they have to feed these animals.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Right, and they're, like I said, they're more apt to feed the animals before they're going to feed themselves.
Yes, I've seen and I know that homeless people treat their animals better than people who have homes. A lot of them, not everyone, but a lot of them. They do.
So, Yep. So that's, and some of the
So we don't
food
have a homeless
banks-
problem in Connecticut, huh?
No, no, it's been
No.
solved.
Let's bring
So-
in some more people from on the other side of the country because we don't have enough here
Yeah,
with
we
homeless.
have a little bit too much.
We can't take care of our own.
Yeah. And people can get food from food banks for their animals, but again, you have to be able to go into the food bank to get the food, which means you need a place for your animal. But you also, a lot of the food banks, they may require proof of residency to access the food banks. So the system starts putting up barriers for people. And once those barriers are up, a lot of people will just say, it's not worth it. I'll just fend for myself. And that's where the problem comes in.
That's because people cheat the system. So many people cheat the system. Those people are worse than anything. And they make it difficult for the people who really need to get what they need.
Yep.
And that is such a sin. It really is. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. Now we can go to the next question, which I forgot.
Okay. What service you're able to provide
services.
for them, the consumers and the community?
Yep. So one of our big things is education. We do offer what we call little workshops for people, whether it's education about the differences between emotional support animals to shelters or just to regular community groups. But we also will go to community groups and provide education on how to properly take care of pets. We've done that with youth groups. We've done that with some local community groups. So we'll bring in a cats and show how to cut nails, how to do proper teeth care, how to properly give medication. Just so that people just show people how to be more comfortable with their animals.
That's great.
So many people are so scared of animals.
I never knew that even existed, till I met you people.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
And it's important because people suddenly the vet will say, okay, here's medication. Are you good with giving this to your animal? And a lot of people will say, sure, not a problem, because they're embarrassed to tell them.
Yeah, and at the vet, the animal will open the mouth. Open wide,
that's
okay. Then
that's
you get
the
home,
other thing.
and the animal goes, you're not going to make that.
Because even with us,
we have to fight our cats.
Our vet shows us how to give the animals the medicine, and I'm like, you're coming home with me.
Yeah,
because
right.
Mine doesn't do that first.
For the ear medicine, oh my God.
Yeah, and even with Smudge, he sees us coming, and you have to be like, no, I have nothing in my hand. I just want to give you love. But when he sees that you have the syringe in your hand, it's like, all right, everybody's on deck to corral him.
You block,
and we have to literally corral him.
Exactly.
And so how do you do this? What are the tips? What are the tricks? And how do you not get bitten by your cat who you love and who loves you?
And who doesn't really mean it, but he's just afraid. Yeah,
he doesn't want that pill shoved down his throat. And, we do this with the dog, too. And, yes, dogs are sometimes easier to give pills to.
Yeah.
But when they're not, what do? You
can stick it in the food with the dog, but with the cat, they chew up the food and spit the pill out.
Exactly.
They have the pill pockets, but they don't like
No, they still they'll spit that pill out. Proper grooming of the animals, and then little things like what's toxic to an animal.
Yeah.
Plants. People don't realize, these plants are toxic to animals. This is what the food you can drink. You can eat. People were amazed that you can feed certain foods to animals that are our foods, and they're actually healthy and good to feed. So those are the little things that we'll educate people about. And we also provide
those
educational.
are such important things.
Yeah, and we have an educational brochure that we hand out that will tell people little tips about vaccinations, about spaying and neutering, behavior.
They can't see it. Yeah.
What else do we have on there?
Vaccines.
And renting with a pet. So one of the huge things that I'm an advocate for is landlords should always allow pets. Because it makes the apartment rental much more valuable. Somebody who rents with a pet is more likely to stay than somebody who does not have a pet because they're more.
That's true.
They have something to stay for.
Yeah.
They're not going to pick up and move constantly if they have an animal. So educating landlords about the value of a pet and educating people how to present their pet to a landlord. So we talk about pet resumes.
Do they listen to you, these people?
It depends.
Sometimes.
Some of them do.
How do you approach them?
Well, having
I don't want to get away from that, but I'm just curious.
yeah, for the landlords, it's all about tell me why you don't like having pets and what your issue is with the pets.
Like if they don't like the breed.
Yeah. and
So
then
you hear
we'll
somebody
talk
doesn't
about-
want them to be, the pet doesn't want to be, the landlord doesn't want a pet to be there. So then you go knock on the landlord's door and
Right.
start talking to him? Okay.
Right, and we'll start talking. We'll start the conversation with tell me why.
Right.
Why don't you want the pet, or what is the objection to having the pet? And then we'll start talking about, well, here's what we can do to alleviate some of that and educate. A lot of landlords are just not educated about the value of pets and renting with pets and how valuable it is to have a renter, that they are more likely to stay. And the statistics, and I'll bring up a lot of the, the articles, the statistics, everything that can be, and show them that, the damage, let's look at the history of damage. Let's look at, what you're afraid of. And then when the person creates a pet resume, that helps too. Because the pet resume will show, here's my pet, this is the training they've had, this is the obedience they've gone through, this is the vet, and references. So it actually creates, like a human has a resume, you go into a job and you're showing, these are my skills, this is why you want to hire me. A pet resume presents why you want to have this animal live.
What a great idea.
So
Great,
it's something that, and that's part of what we do. We also will help mediate if there's a little problem with landlords and pet owners, to just try to bridge that. Because that's one of our big things, because unfortunately people sometimes will make that choice of, I'm moving and they won't let me have my pet, so free to a good home on Craigslist.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
Which is the worst thing.
I know.
So
how can
instead
they give
of
up their pet? I don't know.
yeah.
How
They
they can
just
do
so
that.
instead of doing that, why don't we talk to the landlord and see what we can do to help with that? And there are some instances where there may not be any wiggle room and the landlord's not going to budge, but we're going to give it our best effort to try. And then if it does not work out and it's not going to work out, then we're going to try to get that animal another home.
Decent home, right?
Yeah, because we don't want the free on Craigslist.
No, or the 800. Like, what?
Yeah.
The 800?
Yeah, they normally, like if they said they bought their dog, they want more, they want money
A
for
rehoming fee.
a rehoming fee, and we don't like that. It's like, okay, you're giving up your dog for a reason. You're moving. Give it for free. Maybe, like, the person who doesn't have money will take care of it. It's just disgusting.
And when you put it on Craigslist or somebody you don't know,
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
know what they're going to do
Oh,
with
no.
that animal.
No.
Nope.
No.
People don't have enough respect or love for animals. They're commodities, or they're handy, or I want you for this reason, but I don't like this other reason, so I'm going to get rid of you. They don't realize
you're old,
animals
and I
have
want a
Yeah,
young
you're not
dog.
a
Yeah,
puppy
right.
anymore.
They don't realize animals are living, breathing things
Yep.
created by
Yep.
God. They have souls. They have feelings. They have emotions.
They're not gifts, please.
No.
They're not gifts.
No. And
Because
if
they're
you,
going to get older.
and working with animals, you see, and especially with rescues, when you take an animal from the street and you see that fear, and you see what you're dealing with, and you know this animal is terrified, and you work with it, and you work with it, and then you get it to the point where it's loving and it forgives, and it's
awesome
you
feeling.
start to ask yourself, how are you forgiving a human being for throwing you out of a car or doing this to you, and then you can love me?
Animals love
It's
unconditionally.
amazing.
It's
They love
amazing.
Yeah, it's
unconditionally.
amazing.
And the only reason they bite is because they're afraid.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all. No other
Absolutely.
reason. Just
Absolutely.
because they're afraid.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, people need to be trained in animal
Obedience
care
classes.
and learn about animals that they don't really know. They
yes.
don't really, get it from my kids
Yeah.
or whatever, and or get it from my grandmother because she's all by herself. But
Yep.
they just don't. They don't get that animals are beings with capable of all these emotions and
Exactly.
feelings, and just like we are, they feel exactly the same things that we feel.
Yep.
And they don't have the sense of time. Like I know with my dog, he doesn't have the sense of time. I'll be right back. To him means you're leaving me forever. You're never
Yeah.
coming back. And then when he sees me, it's like, you've been gone forever. I've missed you. And I
It's
laugh
funny.
every time he does that. But it's like I went to the next room, honey, to go get something. I was only gone a minute. And whether I'm gone a minute, an hour, a day, it's the same greeting. And I think that's the most rewarding thing. And to deny somebody that, I think that's the worst
right.
thing in the world. to deny somebody that.
I mean, being an energy healer, I also do Reiki healing on animals. And so I can communicate a little bit with the animals. And animals talk in pictures. They do communicate with us,
that's
but it's
cool.
pictures. They don't, if you say, you know, hello, how are you? They're, I don't know. But if you send them a picture of you embracing them or something, they get that. People don't understand that. And of course, people's minds aren't quiet enough to be able to do that. So they need to focus on the animal and just look at them. And like when you're leaving, you send them the picture of you driving away, and you send them a picture of you coming back. So they know that. That's how they communicate. If people would just know that and do that with their animals, the animals wouldn't be so fearful, you know? So I just thought I would tell you,
Well, Buster's not that fearful because I'm always home, so.
But there's a lot of animals that get separation anxiety
Yeah.
because
We had
they
one.
don't know, and you don't know what they've been through, and all of a sudden they have this wonderful person now in their life, and it's a panic mode.
Let me tell you something that it might be interesting to hear. There was a man who had a dog, and he loved this dog. I mean, he was really crazy about the dog. And the dog had cancer. And the man was a naturalist, too. And, of course, the chemo and all that didn't work. And so he was healing him naturally. He was giving him all kinds of supplements. But he was giving him too many supplements. And he wanted me to heal him. And he didn't, I don't know, I didn't go to his house for some reason. He said he'd meet me. So we met, and I got in the car with the dog by myself in the back seat. I told him to leave. And I started to heal the dog and talk with him. And I had my hands out, and the dog put his whole head into my hands. And he said to me, I'm so tired. Like, in essence, I know he loves me, but all these things he's given me are making me sick, making me feel horrible. I just want him to let me go. I'm not afraid to go. Because animals, when they pass, they have no karma. They have nothing. They go right to heaven. Our heaven is where they go. We take a long time before we get there. And the animal he just said, just like that, with a little face. And he just said, I just want him to let me go. So I told the man, I said, this is what he wants you to let him go. He's okay. He's prepared. He's not scared. He loves you. He knows what you're trying to do. And the man started crying and crying, but I can't let him go. Okay. I said, if you love this dog, you will stop these pills and let him go. Please, I beg you. He did. The man stopped the pills, and about 2 days later, the dog passed.
That's good, because some people don't.
He got back in touch with me, and he told me, you know, and he was at peace with it finally, knowing that he did the best thing for a dog. So I just told the story because I want people to know that the animals do communicate.
They do.
And they know that you love them, and they know you try to help them.
I so believe that. I had the same thing I had a cat who lived, she was 21 when she passed, and she was not good. She was sick when
half her organs.
Yeah, she had half her organs. She was released from a medical lab in D.C. and when I found her, and you know, they went to spay her and they found out that she had a few things missing.
They do experiments on her.
Yep. So she lived
wonderful.
with me she lived with me, actually had her right before I had her, so she's my first baby. And but when it was time for her to go, I brought her to the vet, and the vet said, we can't help her, but you have to let her go. She's holding on because of you.
They do.
And I was holding her, and I told her, I said, okay, princess, it's all right. I'll be okay. You have to go. And you could actually feel her body relax. And it was, you know, and at that point, it's like you realize, wow, you know, they really do. They will hold on for us.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
they will do. And they're so dedicated to us. And I see it with all the animals, and even the rescue animals I bring in. You can see, you know, we rescued an animal, a cat who we later kept, Stardust, who was pregnant, and she was in a horrible situation. She was in an overcrowded situation, and she came to us, Stardust, and she was pregnant, and you could tell in her eyes that she was grateful. And so much so that when she went into labor, she wouldn't even let me leave.
It was on Labor Day.
She kept grabbing me to come back and just stay with her. And you look at that and you're like, wow, the animals know when they've been rescued and how grateful they are. And it makes you wonder, it's like, how are people doing this to them?
Right.
And then you have people who are homeless or who have low income who are treating their animals extremely well, who are sacrificing their own for this. And they're struggling. And, you know, like everybody we help, one of the first things we look for are these animals in good shape? And they all are. They're in great shape. People just need a little help. And we don't help them forever. They just need, you know, we have somebody who's out of work.
You know?
We have somebody who, you know, needs
push.
a little help with medical supplies because of the income and the rent has gone up. And, you know, because unfortunately subsidies have disappeared in the state and whatnot. So we're giving them that little lift up to help. But their animals are incredibly well, and they're treated well, and they're loved, and that's the important thing.
You know, that really is true, and that's the way it goes, and people would realize, I think that the people who are homeless realize how it feels to be poor, not to get the help they need, not to get the food they need, so they make sure that their animal is taken care of because they know we're people who live and are pretty well off and fine. Don't think about that. We're very self-centered and very self-absorbed and don't realize about the animals. Children realize about the animals because they're freshly over from the other side and they realize when they grow up, I don't know what they'll be like, but and it's wonderful parents who teach their children respect for animals. You know, animals are here to teach us. They really are here to teach us. And people don't understand that. And cats as well as dogs. Cats love you. Cats miss you.
Oh, God.
Cats want that relationship with you. It's the same. They're not. They act like they're, you know,
aloof.
Who cares?
Oh no. Some of us, no.
Right, but they're not like that inside their hearts. I know from my cat Jesse. He's just, you know, he's a little love bug. And other times, you know.
Don't bother me.
No. People need to be educated about animals.
Definitely.
They need to just have a school for, let me tell you how animals are.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
We need to do that. We need to open up classes like that. People could learn.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, even with Smudge, I mean, he just, you know, he knows, you know, yes, you're giving me this horrible medicine. But I'm still going to come to you. I'm going to roll over on my back and show my belly. And that's it. We're going to have a moment. And, you know, he knows. And it is what it is. And they all are like that. People laugh because they say, we've never seen cats that will let you rub their belly as much as your cats do. And I say, that's a sign of trust.
Like, when we whistle. Like I'll click and my cat will come to me and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They trust and that's what it's about. And, you know, they know this is where you're going to be. We're going to take care of you. We're not going to let anything happen. And I tell people all the time that, you know, if you give, what you give out, you're going to get back. And especially with an animal. And unfortunately, some people don't actually get it. But
they are pure unconditional love.
Oh yeah, definitely. They know when you're sad,
and that's what we need to learn from them. We're not like that.
No.
They are totally like that. You have some more pictures.
Yep. So this is Julius. Julius was a cat who was about maybe a year old.
This is the one that
he was thrown from a car.
Thrown from a car. Very nice.
So it was, it wound up on Facebook. They were reaching out for somebody to rescue him. And the homeowner saw a car kind of turn around on his dead-end street and toss the cat into his driveway. So Kate and I responded, and we went, and the poor thing was underneath the fence, hunkered down, scared. I got him. And
luckily he didn't move because there was a ditch.
Yeah, he was
like a big drop.
He could have gone and been gone because there was forest right behind him. And talk about somebody who was very scared. He came into our house. He got himself into a corner, and I had to go in and get him. He bit me, and I said, "That's fine." You were terrified.
How did you get him in the house?
He came. We got him into the carrier because he was so scared outside. But once he got in, he got very spooked. Got him neutered, vetted. He turned out he had no diseases, no nothing. He was in perfect shape. The vet said to me, why was he, I don't know why he was thrown out. And we couldn't figure it out because he was perfectly healthy, in great condition. Coat was fine. He was a little thin.
He was just scared of plastic bags and everything.
Yeah, just startled by plastic bags. Like
you crinkle it, and he's like, oh my God.
He gets scared?
Yeah, he would get scared, which kind of, made us wonder. But a couple of weeks, we had him. We fed him, got him a little chunky, and socialized. He loved my cats. He loved my dog. And he became such a cuddler.
He was playing.
He stopped biting, right?
He only bit one time,
Only
but he
because
was
he was
terrified.
scared. Sure.
Terrified. First day in the house, and now he's in an amazing, loving home, and he rules the roost. Frisky, playful, absolutely wonderful, and it's one of those things where you look at, and the only reason we could think that he was thrown from the car was because he wasn't neutered and he needed his vaccinations. Because
so you
otherwise,
just throw your animals away.
and
Someday,
they couldn't afford that.
those people are going to experience the same thing on themselves.
Absolutely, and
will.
that's one of those things where call and we could help.
Seriously.
It's not expensive. I look at that and I'm like, yeah, $135. I said that's, okay. What did that take from me? And it's a lot of money for a lot of people, but I say, that to me is, I can't afford to get my cat neutered. Can you help me? Absolutely. Let's sit down and look at what your budget is. How much could you afford to give towards this cost? We'll work with you, because this is what we don't want to have happen. We don't want this little guy thrown out of a car. No. Thank goodness he landed in such a way where nothing broke. He landed where somebody actually heard the car and was able to see it happen, so he could call and get help, because this is not a cat that was outside ever. And where this person lived, there's a lot of coyotes, there's fisher cats. He would have not made it through the night.
And there was another cat roaming around.
Right, so he would not made it. And
Thank
these
God
are
for
things,
the Good Samaritan.
Yeah, and these are things that we look at and say, this is what we want to stop. These are the things we want to be able to do. And to also, eventually, we're going to partner with the shelters and say, if people come, and one of the things I know, people, when they relinquish their animals, they're charged a fee at some of the shelters. So they'll come and they'll say, I found him as a stray, so there's no fee. But if people are coming to shelters or coming to rescues and saying, I can't afford to take care of the animal, stop. What makes you not be able to afford? Let's sit down. Let's do a budget. One of the big things I want to do is down the road, when we do get a little bigger and get more donations and whatnot in, is have a program that's similar to the food stamp program, where you get, a certain amount. You're going to have your own income. You're going to learn to budget. We're going to learn to do this, but you're going to get medical vouchers. You're going to get food. And it's going to be based on income. And we're going to help you through this. We're going to case manage you through this, so that we're not supporting people, so that we're not enabling them.
Right.
We're helping them.
Right.
You don't want to enable people.
No, you don't. Nobody. You don't enable them in any way, shape, or form. They'll
Right.
never grow. They'll always be on you constantly.
Exactly.
Do the shelters know about you so they can get a hold of you if somebody comes in?
Not yet. We're still too small. Unfortunately, we're just too small right now. We do work with a couple of rescues that we're working with. We're going to advance, hopefully, because
someone go drop your cards off to them or something so they can call.
Yeah, we're
if
definitely
anything
going to be
happens.
doing that. My big fear is that we're going to get so inundated with people saying, I need help, and we're not going to be able to have the help to give.
The funds, have the funds.
How many people are in your group that help?
Right now, that are like really helping is just me and my mom and someone else. But other than that,
3 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
you
really
have to
just the
grow.
3 of us. We had our first meeting last month.
And we got more volunteers.
We do have more volunteers. It's just, work gets in the way. We
Yeah.
have, I love my day job, and I love what I do. And we need the funds. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need the funds to be able to help more people. And that takes time to write the grants, to do the fundraisers.
Yeah, because she's the only one doing the grants.
So we're working. We need more volunteers. So people who want to volunteer.
People out there, volunteer. You get their contact information.
Yep.
Come on. You can do these things to help. There's so many people out there that have the
We need
time
a lot
to
of
do
fosters too.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's a big
fosters
thing
are
too.
nice. Yeah.
Because
We always get calls.
Yeah, we're eventually going to. Our main focus is really working with people who are homeless, and getting them the services they need, so that they don't have to worry about where are they going to go and what's going to happen to their animals. People who are homeless are not getting the services and their needs met because they can't get their needs for their animals met. And they're not going to give up their animals, which they shouldn't have to. So if it's a matter of, well, I can't go into the shelter because I have to give up my dog or my cat, well, I'll stay in my car or I'll stay homeless in a tent. So the main goal down the road, however long it's going to take, is to have the resources to either foster the animals for people so they can go into the shelter and they can get the services they need, or to have a shelter that would be for people with their animals so that they don't have to be separated.
They need that. There's so much work to be done.
There is. Yeah. There's a lot of work to be done.
Oh, my
There's
goodness.
a lot of laws that need to be changed
Oh,
or
that's definite.
revamped for
Definite.
things to happen.
See, the problem with the laws is they're too weak.
Yes.
You know, I'm always talking about that, especially on Facebook. The laws are too weak.
Yep.
People commit these crimes against animals where they torture them or they kill them, whatever they do, and the sentences are so light for them.
The consequences don't match.
That should be a felony. That's murder. That's wrong. And the lawmakers should change those laws so that when the people do this, they are afraid of what's going to happen to them, but
Exactly.
they don't do this. So I say to the lawmakers out there, it's on you. All of this is on you because you won't get up there and change the laws. Okay? All right. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, and the consequences of what happens when people stay homeless because they can't get the services, the needs are dire. It's really, and it's sad. And to know that there's so many people who need the help, and a lot of them are afraid to ask for the help because of what happens or what could happen or what may happen.
What was your most discouraging moment since you've had this going?
A lot of people responding with, why would you want to help people who are homeless save their animals? They don't deserve to keep their animals.
Well, where's our money going to?
They don't deserve.
They don't deserve
They don't
that.
deserve.
They don't deserve that. And how do I know that my dollar is actually going to help somebody who's homeless?
Your dollar?
And
You're worried
the
about your
animal?
dollar? Come on now.
And I have to say that, well, okay, well, donate a can of dog food or a can of cat food, or, and why do people not deserve to have an animal? And, when I'll start educating people about the human-animal bond and how important that is. And somebody who's homeless may have lost everything. The animal is what they have left, and that's their hope. That's
who are you to judge who's deserving and who's not
Exactly.
deserving?
Exactly.
When did you be called God Jr.? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
I have yet to meet somebody who's perfect.
Yeah.
And when I do,
But you will do to
Exactly.
have no sin, cast the first stone
Exactly.
thing. Remember that one?
so there's been a lot of, and I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let that whole, and a lot of the other discouraging, and I go through it all the time too, is, the money, I can't, I want to do more, but I can't. I want to do more, but I can't. I don't have the funds yet. And we participate in all these wonderful fundraisers, and whatever little bit we get, we do what we can.
Like brackets for good.
Yeah, we do it, and I'm, and I keep saying, okay, I'm going to, and one of the littlest things that I find is such a simple thing, I cut coupons. And I shop around, and, there's a $2 coupon for Purina cat food. And it's on sale, and I'll buy a bag, and my husband will be like, "We don't need cat food."
No,
I'm like,
or
"No,
I'll
we don't.
Yeah,
we don't
get it now.
But I need
Yeah.
it now because she'll be saying, "Why are we down the pet food aisle? We don't need pet food." But I have a coupon, and it's on sale. I'm buying it and stocking up. And that is the easiest thing somebody can do.
Right.
Even if you don't have pets. My mother does it. She's cutting
yeah,
coupons. She's like, I got a $5 coupon. She grabs it and she's like, I don't know if this is what you need, but it was on sale and I had a coupon here. And it's a little thing that helps.
We've got 5 minutes left. Can you believe that?
Oh my goodness.
So I want to see the rest of the pictures, but
Yes.
first I want to ask you, what can our viewers do to help you?
They can go on our website. That has a wealth of information. And on the website, we have a fundraising page that lists links to every fundraiser that we have going right now. So Bravelets, if you like bracelets, BarkBox, if you are a new BarkBox member and have never joined up before, you get half off your first BarkBox, and we get money for new members. Chewy also, if you've never ordered from Chewy, you
Chewy
get money.
seems to be really nice.
I love
Chewy
Chewy.
is
We
amazing.
love
got
Chewy.
something from Chewy.
Our UPS driver hates us because of Chewy, because
our
they're such
dog.
heavy boxes.
No, our
but
dog,
we love
too.
Chewy.
Chewy is great.
So there's all those fundraisers that we list on there, our events page lists all the pet fairs and whatnot we'll be at. So that's a good way to come see us.
Also
and also
volunteer.
support all the other rescues that are there.
That's
And
right.
volunteering, finding out where we can where you can volunteer.
Volunteer.
Yep.
Please volunteer.
Yes, we need. So the picture. So
Yes,
this
finish the
is
pictures.
Stardust.
Upside down.
And she's upside down because that's the way she likes to hang around.
She cute. Look
She
at this.
is our education
so
cat.
adorable.
We will bring her and educate with her. She is the one that we rescued. She was pregnant.
She had what,
We
6?
she's 6. She had 6 kittens. We kept one.
He's all
because
black.
He's just
with the
amazing.
white.
Wow, she got
But
such a great look on her face.
She does, and she is the most amazing, gentle,
She's like
wonderful
Play-Doh
soul.
in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, she was like,
And who's this?
And this is Buster. Buster is the one of the dogs we've rescued, and we kept him. He's my sidekick. He was also in a very bad condition when we got him, very thin. People didn't understand how to take care of him, how to groom him, so we were able to take
he's a
care of him.
Jackapoo. He's a Jack Russell Poodle, so he's very
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, so
He's adorable.
Very, very smart.
So, tell me about a success story you've recently had.
So one of the best stories, I think, well, we have all great stories, but we're helping somebody who used to be a veterinarian who was waiting for her disability. And she was caught in between that time period of waiting for disability, waiting for all this extra kind of stuff.
She got sick, you mean?
And she got sick.
Yep.
And we came in because she needed help. And I think one of the things that we saw was that not only could we help her cats, but we helped her, and she's helping us because she wants so much to give back.
Yeah.
And it's become this give, and it's not a give and take, and it's just a give and a give. And I think that's the best thing, because everybody that we help has said, how can I help you back?
Right, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's
What can
what's
we give back?
amazing.
What
Right.
can we give back?
And-
People should ask themselves.
Yep. And so nobody's actually ever said, well, I just want.
Right.
It's, I need this, but I want to help you, and how can I help, other people? And I think that message has been coming through, and that's one of the most successful ones, because, she's just been, her personality has started coming through more now that we've been able to be with her and socialize.
She lost her practice because
No, she still actually has her license, but she's not able to actually practice because of her illness. Yeah, physical illness. Yeah.
that's too bad. Yeah, I'm sure she could be really valuable to
Oh,
you.
she's going to be
she's-
very valuable if we can get ourselves going the way we want. Yeah.
That's great. So, what do you see for your future?
Hopefully, we can grow and expand. Our vision is to get a mobile vet service going to reach people who are homeless, where they don't have to worry about people judging them, where we can offer the services to people who are low income, where they don't have to worry about costs, and we can absorb some of that cost, so that would give them the opportunity to not worry about kitty litter, not worry about food, not worry about those supplies. The medical costs for animals is horrendous.
Oh, it really is.
And
They're out of sight. I don't know what
it's-
some of these doctors are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're out of
And-
sight, and it doesn't need to be that expensive.
No, and that's also contributes to pet homelessness and
Yes.
people giving them up, because the costs are absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
So if we can help defray that for people who are low income, I think that'll help.
To my
overall.
thinking, people become doctors of people and of animals. Okay, not to get rich,
No.
No.
but to help, to give back, to help people. Where did you lose track of that somewhere along the line and decide it's something you want to do to get rich? Not good. Okay, we have to get the contact information, okay? But I want to say before we do that, please contact these people and help whenever you can. Help do whatever you can. You'd be surprised what you could do. If you don't have money, give your time, all right? And to get in touch with me, Healing Outside the Box, Rosemary Lachance, the phone number is 203-627-7966, and the email and all that. I want to give the contact information for them because we're running out of time. Tail to Paw Animal Support, 230-430-9045. Email tailtopaw@gmail.com. Website www.tailtopaw.org. Please get in touch with them. Okay? Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Mwah. Night, night.
Fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort